Alright, now let's take a look at this wheel. The important part for this wheel is to know that it is a revolve of a profile. And here is the profile we are going to draw. It is based off of a axis line that comes to the center of the wheel axle hole right here. Alright, let's take a look at how to do this. I'm in the correct project for my train project. New, standard IPT. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw that axis line just to have something to work off of. Alright. Next I'm going to take a look at what this profile is going to look like. Horizontal line, I'm going to make this a vertical line. I have a perfect radius, half circle, straight, in, down, out, back out. So what does that look like to me if I'm drawing this profile? It doesn't matter inside or outside which way we work, but I'm going to go ahead and go my origin, and I'm going to skip up some space. And then I know that the overall distance is about an inch. So I'm just going to guess right there. And then from this point, if I hold my mouse, if I'm out here and I come back to my endpoint and I hold my mouse button down, I can draw a radius and then lock it in when it's perfectly horizontal to the start point. Then I'm still connected. I'm going to come down straight 90 degrees, in, down, out the same amount, down the same amount. These are all snap points I'm locking onto. And that's the shape I want to have. Next thing we have to start dimensioning this now that we have its proper shape. If you had issues drawing this radius and you just put a straight line there, that's fine. You could always come with your circle tool, pick the midpoint, and draw a circle out if you had to. Alright, let's start dimensioning. I know that the distance from the axis line to that center point of the radius is 1 inch. Axis line, center point of radius is 1 inch. I know the distance from the bottom ledge, or should I say top ledge, to center line is 0.75. From this line to this line is 0.75. Dimension center line to that ledge, 0.75. And I know from this ledge to the center line is 0.25. You can see my numbers are pretty close as I put them in, which is good. It shows that I was kind of paying attention there for what everything is. And I was sketching close to size. Let's look at some thicknesses. The overall thickness from the back of the wheel to the front of the wheel is 0.25. Halfway, 0.125. Let's get that in there. Dimension, overall, 0.25. Halfway, 0.125. Alright. What else do we know? Let's take a look at how big this hole is right here. We can see that right on this drawing. It's a 0.28 diameter through hole. So what does that mean for this distance? From here to there is 0.28 divided by 2. Now it's the correct size. Alright, everything looks to be in place and drawn correctly. Next thing we want to do is put our fillets in. We have to fillet each of these corners. We find that information right here. It says radius 0.0625 typical. That means that one, that one, that one, and that one are all 0.0625. So what does that look like? Fillet. Change the number, 0.0625. And I'm going to pick that line and that line. Oops, looks like we had a miss there. Let's undo that. There was one dimension we forgot to put in that was affecting my fillet. This is 0.25. Now when I go up to do this fillet on here, it's going to be perfect transition and smooth. That was messed up before. Alright, so there's the profile of our wheel. We can go ahead and finish that sketch. Revolve that profile fully around that axis. Alright, the wheel is done. Let's take a look at the back side of this wheel now. We have to put in all of these slots on the back side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw two circles. This radius and that radius. And they are listed right here. 0.375 and 0.625. Let's draw those. Place a sketch, back face of wheel. Circle has to be off the center point 1. And do another one. Dimension the outer circle. Dimension the inner circle. Looking back here, the radius of the inner circle is 0.375. .375 times 2. And I think this was 0.625 times 2. Let's check that to make sure. 0.625 outer circle times 2. Both those are now the right size. Next thing to do is draw some lines to make it look like we have the correct spacing. So we draw off the center point. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Let's try that. One, 2, 3, and 4. Let's take a look at their length. Didn't really matter, but the degrees do. Between these two lines is 15 degrees, then 30, and then 30. So I need dimension from here to here at 15, here to there at 30, and here to there at 30. Looking at my drawing, the piece that I want to keep is right here in the middle between these two, so I can erase everything else. So watch what I do. I'm going to go ahead and start hitting trim. I'm going to trim away everything that is not part of the geometry that makes up that window right there. Now everything's been trimmed. I can come in and delete the remaining lines that made up those angles and circles. I'm going to finish my sketch, extrude that guy, cut in, distance to next. Okay. Now I've got one window there. From here, I want to pattern, a circular pattern, a feature. It says select the feature. I picked it in blue. Rotational axis, around that center point. Number of times, I believe it's 6. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is correct. It's 6 and 360 degrees. Hit OK. And there it is. Alright, let's look at the front face now. And get that peg on there. Alright. Peg is located off the center line horizontally. The center point is 0.7 away. And it looks like it's one large circle, another one, and then a hole in the middle. Let's look at it closer right here. So, center of circle, 0.7 away. Height, 0.375. Outer diameter, 0.25. What does all that look like? Sketch on that surface of the wheel. Circle, I'm going to get in line. Draw that out. I'm going to dimension its location from center point to center point. It's supposed to be 0.7. And its dimension is supposed to be, I think, 0.25. Let's see what that looks like. .25, 0.7 from the center. Extrude it out, 0.375. Alright. And there it is, coming out 0.375. Done. Now we have a center circle that's got to be extruded out. Its diameter is 0.125 and its height is 0.125. Create a sketch on that face. Create a circle. Dimension 0.125. Finish. Extrude. Alright, back in there now. There is a hole with a 1/16 of an inch depth, diameter, and a 0.25 inch depth. Let's try that out. Sketch on that surface, point on that point, finish the sketch, use the point to make a hole. See what kind of hole it is. There's our information. Regular hole, flat bottom. Regular hole. 1/4 inch won't work. 0.625. Termination is distance. In this case, it is 0.25. And we'll give it a flat bottom. Let's double check that to make sure we are correct. 0.25. That is it. Hit OK. And the wheel is complete.